All right, welcome guys. Welcome to the webinar. Thanks so much for showing up here. We're going to dive right into it. So, the vision of this webinar is two-part. The first part is we're doing an Invisible Empire live from our Vegas event recap. We're going to bring up about 20 of you guys to share your top couple takeaways. And then I'm going to share my top couple to kick us off. And then from there, we're going to transition in how to create a honeypot offer for your Facebook, for your Instagram, for your social media that's really going to gain some buzz, it's going to gain some virality, and it's going to allow you to generate some leads, right? So really quick, raise your hands if you're excited about generating leads tonight. If you're excited about generating 5 to 10 to 20 plus free leads that are personally branded, custom branded to your name from Facebook or Instagram. All right, I see some hands going up, so you guys are pumped and excited, and I'm excited for you guys. Some of you guys actually can take this strategy and really run with it. I mean, some of you guys have a decent influence on Facebook and on Instagram, and every day that you're not using this honeypot strategy, leads are slipping through your fingers, and so we're going to make sure that that is not the case tonight. So let's get right into it right now. So here are my top couple takeaways from the event. I'm going to share them with you. I have my good old journal here out, and we'll dive right in it. So the first takeaway that I had here that really impacted me was continuous growth through entering the next portal of growth for myself in my life, and you guys as well. So Mark was talking about how everyone is consistently moving into that next portal. Like, what is your next portal of growth? So I turned over to Matt, and Matt Shetler and I were talking, and Matt and I were going back and forth on what is our next portal. Like, how do we see ourselves growing into that next bigger, better version of ourselves? And we dissected it to the next level, and we said, not only that, but what areas of our lives deserve that next portal of growth? So for me, I was thinking not only financially, not only business, but relationally with my girlfriend, relationally with my friends and my family, physically from my own physical body, etc., etc. And we were thinking, even to get even more granular with that, we were thinking, what do we need to do? So not only what is that next portal. So right now you may be sitting here and you may have a 5-figure business. Last year you might have made 20, 30, 40, $50,000 online. And this year your goal and your next portal to step through is $100,000 per year business or more, right? A 6-figure business. And that might be your next portal. Well, to get more granular than that, I want you to ask yourself, what are the steps, what are the action steps that it's going to take for you to actually enter that portal and come out the other side a bigger and better version of yourself? And so for me this year, my goal is multiple 6 figures in 2017, and my portal here in business is, and in order to get through that portal, in order to achieve that, I have a bunch of different goals that I'm accomplishing this year that are within my control, right? Things that are within my human effort, my human power. And with that, one of them was to do once per week, I want to go live on Facebook, at the minimum once per week. Now I could do more, but there aren't going to be any weeks in 2017 where I don't go live at least one time. So in my head here, I'm thinking if I get around 300 people per Facebook Live that view it, which is around my average, and I do it 52 times this year, once per week, I'm reaching out to 300 plus people 52 times this year just through the Facebook Live medium. And the odds of people not buying from me, the odds of people not becoming my clients are just so slim if they're impacted 52 times this year just through the Facebook Live medium. So really quick, raise your hand if you understand what I'm saying about your portal. So not only what is your next portal financially or in business or in health or in fitness or in family or in friends or in relationships, but what is your next portal consist of? What does it consist of? What actions do you need to take to get there? So I appreciate you guys raising your hands here. It's giving me some energy as we're moving into this thing. I'm going to wrap up really quick with my last big takeaway, and it's the challenge versus the reward theory. So Mark he drew a perfect drawing the other day at the event, and he drew a chart that kind of looked like this. And hopefully my hands will do a good enough job for you here, so I don't have to write on the screen. But the first pillar here is the pillar of challenge. The second horizontal line here is the line of reward, right? And where your happiness falls is somewhere in between. So, for example, if you're doing something that's way too challenging, the level of challenge is really high, but the level of reward is really low, most likely you're not going to be that happy. And on the flip side of that, although it's probably a little better, it's still not where your happiness lies. Is if you are getting rewarded really well for what you're doing, but you don't have any challenge, there's no real incentive, you don't really feel good doing it. The issue there is because of the lack of challenge there, you're not going to be enticed to keep going. You're not going to be enticed to grow in that space, and it's just going to be tough for you to feel fulfilled. So where your happiness lies is not where challenge is high and reward is low. It's not where reward is high and challenge is low. It's actually in between, somewhere on the middle point where challenge is high and reward is high at the same exact time. So really quick, if you guys are at the event here, and actually Chris Stapleton, we'll start with you here, brother. I'm going to unmute you really quick here, Chris. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Let us know that you can hear us here. I know you're a little under the weather. You're battling a head cold. But Chris, are you out there?
Can you hear me okay, boss?
Yeah, we can hear
Can you
you
hear me
well,
okay?
Chris.
Hey, I love the energy, man. Ton of value. I think, well, the funny thing is Mark kind of made that up on the spot, that reward and challenge graph, and it was so true, so right that he was actually thinking of making a little training on it. And I really believe it. That was actually one of my top takeaways. And I think one of the big ones I took away, and I've heard this before, but just hearing it from Mark again is really nice. You don't create buyers. We don't create buyers. The buyers that are already going to purchase from you, their money is already headed in a direction. It's already going to an investment or a business. They've kind of made the decision subconsciously that they're going to move. They're going to move the money. Money's built to move, right, Tyler? Money's built to move around. So Mark was saying is, we're not creating the buyers here. Our job is to serve them. Our job is to intercept that person at the right time when they're making that decision to move forward with us. And I just think that's such a great thing. It kind of takes off the burden of us, Tyler, and everyone watching, everyone listening, kind of takes away the burden of us trying to go out there and create buyers. You know what I mean? They're already out there. The money's going to be spent. It's our responsibility to do the Facebook Lives, to do the honeypots, to do the webinars, to get out there and be that person that they can reach a hand out to and say, hey, Chris, Tyler, whatever, show me the way. Like, I'm ready to move here. I've been sitting on an idea for a few years now. A lot of these people that join us, Tyler, they've been thinking about this for a long time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was a big takeaway for me. Everyone listening here, we don't create the buyers. We simply do not create buyers. We serve them. And I really love that takeaway. There were so many more. Tyler, you actually gave me a really big takeaway when we were in the hotel room. I don't know if you remember this or not, but we were just before dinner. It was like me, you, Mark, Matt, and Tim Allwell, and a few others. I think Jaden was there too. And we were talking about honeypots. And you were like, yeah, so I got like 30 leads from this post the other day. And I said, oh, great. We were kind of chatting. And then you told me, yeah, I've been actually asking people for their emails instead of sending them a capture page or a website to opt in. And for those who aren't watching, we'll fill you in a little bit later on what a honeypot is and how we do it. But essentially, my strategy was to create a honeypot post to get someone to reach out to you and say, I want more information. Where before, I was actually sending them a capture page or sending them a website for them to go kind of do it on their own. You know, you think that they'd go do that. And most of them do, but some of them don't. Where Tyler says, instead of me sending them the website, why don't I just ask for their email instead? And he's been doing that. Tyler, has that been working out super well? Like, it seems to me it's like, what is that, 100% conversion rate or what?
Yeah. I mean, ever since I've been doing it, which has been at least a year now, it's 100% conversion rate because people just give me their best email, and all the creative burden is taken off their shoulders, and all I'm doing is manually inputting it into my get response.
I love that. And I'm not going to ramble too much longer here, but I know for sure, Tyler, that I've lost hundreds of leads by not following that strategy. So that was a big takeaway for me. So many more relational breakthroughs for me, emotional breakthroughs for everybody. So I'm excited to hear everybody's takeaway. We've got how many people we got on with us?
We have 42 right now, Chris, so it's a decent turnout. Chris, if you want
Not
to do
bad.
this, go ahead and just mute yourself on your end. I'll keep you unmuted on mine so you can pop in during this webinar if need be.
Yep.
But really quick, guys, give
Absolutely.
us a raise of hands right now if you got some value from Chris, if you got some value from his top takeaways from the event. I just want to see some love for Chris. He deserves it. He does a lot of the work that makes just our entire world go round here in Invisible Empire, and he deserves it. And Chris, you're getting a ton of people to raise their hands right now. So you're getting some love, brother. But really quick, I'm going to put all the hands down right now. Go ahead, and if you were at the event, if you were at Invisible Empire Live in Vegas, and we're going to do probably a little less than 20 of these to keep this a little more condensed, but you want to share your top couple takeaways, or maybe just your top one. Let's just go your number one takeaway from the event, and you want to share that quick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to unmute you. I'm going to put about, let's say, 60 seconds on the clock, and you're going to get 60 seconds of shine time here in order to go ahead and share with the community. So first up, we have Miss Irene. Irene, you're going to be unmuted right now. If you want to unmute your end here, Irene, welcome to the party. Thanks so much for sharing. What was your number one takeaway?
I didn't go to the event. Sorry, Tyler.
Oh, okay. No worries, Irene. You're giving Chris some love. No worries. I'm going to unmute you here. All right, really quick. Someone else that went to the event that wants to share their number one takeaway, Ryan Yost from Utah. Ryan, what was your number one takeaway from the event?
Great, Tyler. Thanks. First off, appreciate all your guys' hard work at the event. My number one takeaway was to turn your ideas into offers, and then kind of a sub takeaway with that is to add intensifiers to your offer by creating urgency and deadlines within your intensifiers. Because kind of like what Mark said, what would you prefer? Kind of a goose egg, nothing, no money, or after your offer intensifier, maybe you have 7/8 portion of the total commission left, but you're offering so much value and leadership to your product.
Awesome, Ryan. That's a great takeaway, man, and that's changed my business indefinitely back in 2016 and 2015. It changed everything for me. So thanks for sharing here, Ryan. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to unmute Mr. Daniel. Daniel, what's up? Great to hear from you. I'm happy you're on tonight. Go ahead and unmute yourself on your end, and let's hear your number one takeaway from the event.
Hey, you got me there, Tyler?
Yep, we can hear you well.
Hey, my number one takeaway was working inside of your frame. Basically, that helped me a lot because I was struggling with the insecurities. I don't really know anything about this. I'm just not into it. I've only been doing this for a couple months. But what I learned is that there's people inside my frame that I can still provide value to. I can still provide information to that they don't know. And if I can share that value with them by looking outside of my frame. And that was basically my number one takeaway, and that's my focus now.
Awesome, Daniel. Thanks so much.
Building an audience with that.
Thanks so much for sharing, brother. I appreciate it. I'm happy we got to connect at the event, and I look forward to seeing you at the next one. Thanks so much for sharing here. Now, one more really quick before I put all the hands down, and then we go for one more round here. This person actually was an amazing just surprise to have at the event. She came all the way from Canada by herself, knowing absolutely no one. She really got emotional when she was sharing her story and her big why as to why she was there. Miss Charlene Smashnuck, great to see you on the webinar. Go ahead and unmute yourself on your end. You should be live now. What was your number one takeaway, Charlene? Charlene, are you out there? Last call for Charlene. Charlene, are you out there? Okay, Charlene, we'll have you share maybe a little bit later here. If you're not able to come through, no worries. What we're going to do here is I'm going to put down all the hands. Here we go. Let's hear from 3 more people that were at the event. Go ahead and raise your hands right now if you're at the event and you want to share your number one takeaway. Of course, Victor Didage. Good to hear from you. Victor is a power player in the online space. Victor, are you out there?
Yeah, I am here, my friend. How you doing?
Great, Victor. Great to hear from you. What was your number one takeaway from Invisible Empire Live?
I'm going to give it very quickly because obviously, number one from you, I got 60 leads from your honeypot thing. But in addition to that, you're awesome, Tyler. Justin Glover on how he closes people was really awesome. Just visualizing before the call and then on the call, asking, how do you, what made you come to this call? Try to get it out of them. So, those kind of things, gave me some good ideas as to what to do on future calls. So, and of course, Chris gave some good stuff with the story ads. I'm sorry, there were 3. So that's pretty much it. You guys were all awesome, and I got so much value. I'm utilizing everything you guys taught me.
Victor, you are amazing, my friend. Really quick, everyone, give Victor a nice little hands up. It'll act as a virtual clap or pat on the back. Victor got 60 leads, 60 from one honeypot post. So let's give Victor some love here. Raise your hand. Just give him a virtual pat, like a good clap here via this webinar. Victor, you're getting a lot of hands raised here. And you deserve it, man. 60 leads off a honeypot post. You guys understand the power of that. You can't tell me that there aren't buyers in those 60 custom branded leads that wanted to get Victor's notes from the event. It's such an inevitable, result that he's going to achieve if he nurtures those leads correctly, which we'll be teaching in just a little bit. So I put all the hands down. One more time, let's hear from 2 more people that were at the event. I want to hear your number 1 takeaway from the event, and I want you to be able to share this with the Invisible Empire community so that they can get impact heavily as well. Pamela, great to see you. Pamela just popped her first Renaissance sale not too long ago. Pamela, great to see you on the webinar here. Can you hear us? And can you share with us your number 1 takeaway?
Yes, I can hear you. And another number 1 takeaway was the astronaut code. Always work the problem.
Awesome, Pamela. And why did that impact you so deeply?
Just gave me better focus. You know, what to focus on. Because there's so many things we can be working on. But for instance, I have a pixel that's not working, so I'm going to work on the problem.
And I love it because in the way that I interpreted that as well, Pamela, is that like in the movie The Martian, where he got stuck on Mars, the main actor, I forgot his Matt Damon, I think, when he got stuck on Mars, he didn't just accept his dire fate of death on Mars by himself with no one there. He worked the problem. So I think in this space and in entrepreneurship in general, what people tend to do is they tend to get so discouraged from little failures that they have to that they just have to go through to get to that next level, that they let little roadblocks actually kill all their dreams. So their dreams of that nice house, their dreams of lifestyle freedom, their dreams of a luxury car, of putting just their kids through amazing Ivy League college, whatever it may be, they let little roadblocks like a broken pixel ruin all of it for them. And I think the astronaut code actually translates as well to people that are just problem solvers. So thank you so much for sharing here, Pamela. I appreciate it a lot. And the last person that we're going to hear from, I'm very excited about. Miss Susan Strong came all the way from Costa Rica to join us in Vegas at the event. Susan, are you out there?
Hey, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, oh yeah, we can hear you loud and clear here. Are you back in Costa Rica?
Yeah, I'm back in Costa Rica. Just got back yesterday.
I love it. Well,
I'm
happy you're there safely, Susan. Really quick, what was your number 1 takeaway from the event?
Actually, there were a bunch of them, and the ones that have already been mentioned are some, but one that hasn't been was talking about framing a bonus, especially when you're starting out, to maybe like offer, once people go through the program, to offer Facebook ad costs, offer them money, or maybe offer them one-on-one training like through Skype.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I thought that was a good framing the bonus.
Yeah, it's awesome, Susan. I appreciate you sharing that. And to add on to that, I think what's awesome about the position that a majority of the people, actually, I'm going to bet that everyone on this webinar is probably somewhere around this position right now. And it's that no matter who is buying, that person is probably looking for a different style of bonus in some way or another than the next person next to them. What's amazing about being able to just really rock this online entrepreneur game, this online affiliate space, is that your job, in my opinion, partially as an affiliate, is to structure your bonuses to fit your buyers, because realistically, to make a $3,000 commission on Renaissance, you can spend a decent amount of time and money and energy on your bonus to fit that buyer specifically. So I don't go ahead and personally offer all of my buyers the same bonuses, because they're not wanting the same bonuses. Because person number A may want, a 3-week diet and workout program because they want to get in shape while they're doing business. And person B just might want a 60-minute coaching session after they spent $50 on Facebook ads. See, you want to mix up your bonuses, especially while you have the time right now, while you're building your foundation. You want to mix up your time in creating those bonuses, because I was sharing with some of the group at the Invisible Empire event that I want to say at least 30 to 40% of all of my buyers buy from my bonuses. And Renaissance or Invisible Empire or Solomon or whatever else that I'm selling is actually the bonus to them. It's not what they're buying. They're buying my bonus first, and then what they're getting with Renaissance, Invisible Empire, Solomon is actually just an add-on to what they actually want. So really quick, thank you guys so much for sharing here. We're going to move on to part 2. Raise your hand if you want to hear Chris and I detail, and I have a little template for you guys to follow here tonight that I created. But raise your hand right now. Give me a hands up, and I'm waiting until I see some decent amount of hands here because I want you guys amped here. Raise your hand if you're excited to learn a specific 7-step template right now that'll allow you to charge up a honeypot post, gain some leads, but most importantly, start turning those leads into buyers, right? Because I don't care and you don't care if you have a million people on your email list. If you're not selling to them and they're not buying, you might as well have a 0-person email list. It doesn't make a difference. You have to be able to sell to the people that are on your list here. So we're getting a good amount of hands up right now. I appreciate all of you guys for the engagement. I'm going to put the hands down and we're going to get this party started. Chris, if you want to go ahead and unmute yourself on your end as we wrap up this webinar, I'm going to go ahead and share my side here. And really quick, one more time, a raise of hands if you guys can see my screen. I want to make sure that you can see what we're doing right now so that you aren't getting... I want to make sure you see this, and I want to make sure you hear this because that's why you're here. So thank you guys for the hands. I understand that this should be coming through nice and clear for you guys. And here we go, Chris. Feel free to pop in here and add some value as we go on, but I will go ahead and kick us off. So here are 7 key tips here that I've put together in regards to putting together your honeypot. So tip number 1, in my opinion, is something catchy to kick off your post. So a catchy headline of sorts that's really going to pull people into your world. Because if you can't, it doesn't matter the content that you have inside your honeypot, whether it be written or a Facebook Live or whatever it may be. It doesn't matter if you have amazing content in the middle. If your title or if your headline or for whatever is your hook that's going to draw people in, if that isn't up to par, if that's not intriguing, no one's going to read it. No one's going to engage in it. For example, like Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter. If her book wasn't awesome on the front cover, if it didn't have a really intriguing title, if there wasn't mystery behind it, it didn't matter how amazing the story is. It didn't matter how many millions of copies were sold of that story. Because people weren't buying the title, they weren't buying the cover, they were buying the book, they were buying the story. If she didn't have something intriguing to kick it off with, to draw people in, there is no chance that people get to the amazing story that is Harry Potter, or to the billionaire that is J.K. Rowling. So really quick, raise your hands if you get that. Like you get that you have to have something intriguing to pull people in. Right? You have to have something intriguing as a headline or the first couple sentences that people see in your post to actually get them to engage, or else there's no engagement whatsoever. Okay, so I appreciate you guys.
That's a good tip, Tyler. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you well, Chris.
What I like to ask myself is, what do I usually stop on Facebook to check out? You know, ask yourself that.
Yeah,
a lot of times it's the first few sentences that catch your eye that's going to make you say, click that little blue button that says continue reading. Usually it's the first few sentences or it's the picture, but the headline is huge. I always like to kick it off with a really cool, interesting headline. So really good tip there, boss.
Awesome, Chris. Yeah, I appreciate that insight. And I think you guys can use this here as an example for maybe the one that you're about to post tonight or the one you're getting ready to post on Monday, whatever it may be. But one that I really like using is I like saying my mentor, fill in the blank, usually it's Mark that I'm quoting or I'm sharing, hosted a fiery webinar or hosted a fiery event or whatever it may be, showing the exact strategy on XYZ or on how he went from broke, 40K in debt, qualifying for welfare to multiple 8-figure earner, business with the NFL, business with XYZ, and something like that. Because especially in the beginning, when you don't really have the results to share with people, you leverage other people's results that you're working with, if that makes sense. So in the beginning, you want to say, I learned XYZ from my 8-figure mentor. I learned blah, blah, blah from my 7 or 6 or whatever figure mentor, someone that's doing this amount of results. This is what I learned from them. Because then people correlate you with them and they tune in, not necessarily to hear your message, although your message is a translation from their message. They're tuning in because they know that that wisdom is actually qualified wisdom, right? So point number 2 here is an intriguing body. And we won't dive super into this. We won't dive too far into it because it's pretty straightforward. But you want the middle of your post, you want the main section of your video to be very intriguing. You want to be storytelling in the entire time, and you want to be dropping value to them, because the way that you keep people engaged in your ad copy or engaged in your videos is by storytelling. People love to fall in love with a story, with characters in a story, with highs and lows, and they want that from you as the marketer. That's the way you're going to get them to engage. And not only that, but they don't only want stories. Like I was talking about at the event, they want value. People come to your Facebook or your Instagram. If you're the business person, if you've dedicated your social media to monetization instead of a popularity contest, they're coming to you for value. Right? So if you're not sharing value in your honeypot, and then you offer them your call to action at the end, which is to comment below, most people won't comment below because you didn't give them something in the beginning. So for an example, if you're at the mall, or if you're at Costco or something, you see all these people giving out samples consistently. They're letting you sample the new chicken that's in. They're letting you sample the new vegetable or the new pizza or whatever it may be. And they're giving you that little teaser because they actually want you to buy the whole thing. Right? They're not giving it away because they have a bunch extra in the back that they're just looking to throw out. They're giving you that little value teaser, so you go, wow, that's good. Like, I should buy more, or I should buy that thing. So your body should be intriguing enough, storytelling enough, valuable enough to where they're going to want to hang on till the end. And that's when you drop point number 3, which is the most important, or one of the most important factors. And no magic happens without this, and that's the call to action. So usually I like to give them exactly what to comment, so that I'm taking away, my job as the marketer, your job as the marketer, is to take away as much of the creative burden as possible. I don't even want them to think what they have to comment. So feel the difference here. If I said comment below if you want the notes, then in their mind, the first thing they think if they want the notes is, oh, what should I comment? Should I comment, send me the notes? Should I comment, yes, I want them? Should I comment, whatever? If I tell them, though, if I instruct them, comment, send me the notes below, all they have to do is, they don't have to use any of their creativity. They don't have to use any of their brain power. All they have to do is go, oh, I want the notes. Send me the notes. Right? So in your call to action, be specific. Let them know exactly what you want to see. Let them know exactly what you want to hear before they get entrance into your world. Right? So in the call to action, my favorite call to action is comment, send me the notes, or send me the email, or comment, send me something below if you want the fill in the blank. So if you're doing it based on the Invisible Empire event, what I did is I said, comment below, send me the pictures, or send me your notes from the event if you want my notes, and I'll send them out to you on Monday. And I blasted it out to my email list 3 days ago on Monday, and I've had amazing responses from them thus far. So Chris, anything to add here, or shall we move on?
No, I love it. I love it. You're doing awesome. And this is like a micro training of the essence of a honeypot, right? We can talk about this for hours, right? But this is such a great framework for people watching that don't know really where to start. This is great. One thing on the call to action too, Tyler, and you do this all the time, but I do notice a few people, not only in our community, but in the space a little bit, they only do one call to action at the end. At the very end. And I think what's really powerful is to kind of sprinkle 2 or 3 call to actions and the last 75 to 50% of it. That's just my kind of thing. I've noticed that if I just put it at the end, some people might not read to the very end, but some people will catch it at like the 75% mark. So that's one takeaway, is throw that call to action in there a few times. Let them know what they're supposed to do. Keep reminding them over and over and over again, and I think that'll boost results for everybody.
Chris, you are 100% dead on with that. And 2 points to follow up with what Chris just said. Point number 1 is, especially like even in your videos, what I love doing on Facebook Live is towards the last 30-ish% of my Facebook Live, my call to action comes out. And as people are commenting, just like a webinar, I would call them out. I'd say, Nick, I just saw you commented. I'm going to make sure you get those notes. Thanks so much for commenting. I see you. And what that does is that has more people more likely to comment as well, because they're seeing, oh, other people are doing it, so I can do it too. Like, I'm not the lone wolf if I do this. And the second thing is if you go back into your actual account in Invisible Empire in the back office, you'll see the training Pictures to Profits. If you have that unlocked, I would head into that and review that quick. Like Chris said, this is just a micro teaser on how amazing that course actually is. So go ahead and reference that for your next honeypot as well. Chris and I reviewed this, so we'll go quick. But instead of sending people a link to your capture page, a main strategy that I love using is personally direct messaging people that commented. And so what I'll do is I'll say thank you. So let's just say my buddy Nick from high school commented on my recent honeypot. I'd reach out to him and I'd say, hey Nick, thank you so much for commenting on my recent post. I appreciate the engagement. What is your best email so that I can add you to my list? I'm sending that email out that contains all the notes from the event out on Monday. I want to make sure that you get it. So what's your best email? And so what Nick thinks that automatically is number one, Tyler's following through. He's asking me, he's reaching out, he's making sure that I get these notes. But not only that, at the same time, he's not even having me do work. All Nick has to do is think, what is my best email to send Tyler? And that's it. So I'm taking all the creative burden and all of the work essentially out of the prospect's hands. I'm going to take on the extra 7 seconds of typing their email into my GetResponse account, but I'm going to guarantee with 100% accuracy that that person actually ends up on my list versus sending them the link to my capture page and them going, I'll do this later, forgetting about it and it never happening. Right? So raise your hand.
Oh, go ahead, Tyler.
Oh no, Chris, kill it right now. You're up.
So many great benefits to that. So many great benefits of collecting the email instead of creating a capture page, right? You got to go and create a capture page now. You don't have to do that with this strategy when you collect the email. Now, one thing I think I'm going to test, Tyler, and I don't know if you do this or not, but if I have the email written and I have it already kind of queued in my autoresponder, what I was thinking of doing is taking a screenshot of the actual email in my Yahoo account with the headline and everything, and just be like, oh yeah, by the way, keep an eye out for this headline. Keep an eye out for this subject line. This is the actual email you'll get, and inside the email will be the link that's going to go to the training that I'm hooking you up with. Just kind of a thought I had to kind of take it a step further, so when they do see that subject line, it's like, oh, dude, I totally remember Tyler telling me about that. Click.
Yeah, Chris, and you are an absolute master, Chris, of hand-holding your leads through the entire process. That's how you broke free, right? I mean, that's how you broke free last year around this time, is you created a process that was such a no-brainer that people knew exactly what to expect, and when they reached that step of your funnel, they're like, I've seen this before. I'm comfortable here.
Yeah, I think it makes a big difference. So just to kind of put your little strategy, kind of icing on the cake, I'm going to test that. And see what happens.
Awesome, Chris. Yeah, keep us posted with the results, but I can see that being awesome for open rates and engagement and all that good stuff. So step number 5, we already mentioned, it's manually adding these emails to your list. And then step number 6 here is to blast out the email. So the main thing that you want to do, especially with new fresh leads, is to make sure that you over deliver on the promise that you gave them, because that's their first taste of who Tyler is or who Chris is or who Irene is or whoever it may be, who Daniel is, whatever. But their first taste is, if they're a brand new fresh lead who've been following you around on Facebook and now they're on your list, that first email that delivers on your promise should be an over delivery of that promise so that they go, wow, like this person is awesome, right? So when I tell people like I have 5 pages of notes, I usually send an extra page and then I'll send a video recap as well. I'll make sure that I go above and beyond with these people so that they just know that that's what I do. That's what I'm about. I'm about under-promising, over-delivering, and really making sure that I'm dialing in with the content that I'm giving you so that it's better than you even thought it would be. Right? So make sure, and the point number 6 here, the main thing though, is if you're adding them to your list, the worst thing you can do to a lead is to forget about delivering what they came there for, right? And then start emailing them offers that are just coming out of left field, right? You want to deliver on that exact promise and then incubate them in a way that's going to lead them to buy. Chris, do you have anything to add here before we wrap?
Oh, such a great point. Tyler, it's like I look back at kind of the last year and a half, and the reason that I got a smidgen of authority, maybe some influence in the marketplace, is I just started doing what I said I was going to do. Like, I would just tell somebody that I was going to do something, and then I would fulfill on that. And honeypots is kind of where that kind of started taking off, because here I was making posts telling everybody that I was going to deliver, and all of a sudden I had 30 people to like deliver on this promise. And as I started doing that and stacking up the goodwill to my audience, and just a level of trust and a level of like anticipation. People just know, Tyler, like you're one of the people in this industry that you just do what you say you're going to do. You're a man of your word. And I think when you're starting off, that's just, it's so kind of rare in today's world. Like it's rare. Like people, it's just do what you say you're going to do. And I promise you, you win little tokens of trust every step of the way. It's like, you send them the private message like you told them to. Then the email comes like you said, and then the video comes like you said, and all of a sudden you're just a man of your word, and it's a beautiful thing. And I really think that's when the money kind of started showing up in my life, when I just kept doing what I said I was going to do. So I kind of went on a little ramble there, Tyler, but I love number 6. You kind of threw that in there as far as over delivering on your promise. It's just such a good practice and such a good characteristic to have in the space. I just want to kind of touch on that, expand on that.
Awesome, Chris. No, I totally agree, man. And I was sharing this at the event. I truly believe that with diligence and some work ethic, and like you said, just delivering on the things that you tell yourself and you tell your leads and the people around you that you're going to do, just with those 3 things, you're going to be able to surpass a majority of the entire internet marketing industry. Because most people don't deliver on their promises, especially to themselves. They tell themselves, I'm going to host a webinar, and they don't do it. They tell themselves, I'm going to go on Facebook Live, and they don't do it. And every single time they do that, a piece of them dies. A piece of them goes, you just never do what you say you're going to do. I don't believe you. You're not going to do that. And to your leads, even more so, if you're not following through on your promises there, they're not going to buy from you. Because if you offer them something, they're going to go, I can't trust you. Because last time you told me you're going to do that, you didn't. Right? So, Chris, I love the insight there.
Exactly.
Let's wrap up on point number 7 here, which is the incubation of your leads, turning them into buyers. One of my favorite strategies here, and this is something that Mark was sharing with me last year. He said, Tyler, in the position that you're in, you should not do a single thing without an offer attached at the end. Why? Because you have all the time and energy right now in the world to just crank that cash register and put out awesome offers for your list for the people that are following you, right? So at the end of every single email, I don't send emails out without offers at the end. I just don't, because I'm not here to just email people in masses for fun. I'm here to monetize, right? For my Facebook Lives, I never have a Facebook Live without a call to action to buy something or to do something, because I'm just not here to spend 40 minutes on Facebook for fun. I'm here to monetize. And so for a lot of, at least for me in the past, Chris, I don't know if you ever did this, but I got caught up in just wanting to be the value guy and not be just the guy that asks for the money at the end. I wanted to be the value guy.
Story of my life, bro.
Yeah. And I think it's a trap.
It was a real talk. I remember actually with Mark, it was the same thing. He's like, Chris, like, you've told enough stories. Like, you've given enough value over the last 4 years online. It's like, you've done enough. Like, it's time to sow some sales.
Yeah.
It's like, it's time to sell. Like, you're not selling enough. And I had to kind of get out of my own way. I had some things in my way, like, I didn't even know were there, like belief issues that I wasn't worthy of making 10, 20, 30 grand a month, you know. Once I got that out of the way, it's just like, wow, okay, like, time to sell, right? It's like something just clicks. But yeah, you're totally right. Totally right. It was a kind of a catch up with me too. So this is you're right on the money with this one.
Yeah, let's a couple more things here to wrap this baby up. Number 1, always attach offers to the end of whatever you're doing, whether that be an email, a Facebook Live, a podcast. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Have the ability for your lead to take the next step with you, and especially if you believe internally at your core that they don't get the full experience until they buy. So for me, or for Chris, or for really any of you guys as well, what your leads don't understand is the surface level Facebook Live, the surface level podcast, the surface level free content that they get from you is a dull experience compared to when they buy from you. My leads, when they turn into my buyers, the experience only gets better. They think it's good on Facebook Live, they think it's good on a webinar, they think it's good on a podcast, but they don't understand how good it can be until they buy. And so if you have that internal belief, you shouldn't be doing a dang thing without an offer attached at the end, without selling attached to the end, because the name of the game, if you want to go full time here, is monetization. It's not It's not anything else. It's monetizing those leads, turning them into buyers.
Mm-hmm.
And so another strategy here is at the end of your emails, you'll see Chris do this, you'll see me do this. I learned this from Mark. You'll see Mark do this, who learned it from whoever else. At the end of the emails, I like adding a little PS. And at the little PS at the end, all that is always for me is a call to action. I said it towards the end of the email, and then I'd add the PS, give them a little bit more value, and then one more call to action to make sure that the message is just getting through. I don't want the message to skip over them. I want it to get through, and I want them to buy, and I want them to engage at the deeper level with me. So I'm not going to go too far into this. Our time is now officially in overtime by 1 minute here, so I appreciate you guys staying on here. But raise your hand really quick if you get that. It's time to monetize. Say that to yourself. If you're in a room alone like I am, it's just like I'm raising both hands, and I'm like, it's time to monetize. I'm tired of just being the value guy or the value girl. Like, it's time to monetize this thing. I work hard enough to deserve this income. It's time to do this thing. So I appreciate you guys staying on here for this entire, literally we've had 100% retention through this entire thing. It's been a really, really fun webinar. I appreciate you guys a lot. Chris, any last words here before we wrap?
Oh, brother, you absolutely crushed it. Really, really good job. I had fun watching you, learning, listening from everybody, and this is exciting, man. It's a special time to be working with Invisible and everything going on, and cannot wait to release more details on our next event. Not going to share any much, Tyler. I'm sure you've heard a few details on it, right? It's pretty fun.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Have you heard some stuff? So yeah, we'll be releasing some of those details here this week. But everybody listening, just get out there. Everyone who's on this webinar has an offer. Like, I know when you were talking, Tyler, it's like, I always end with an offer, and I think my old self would have been kind of caught up in that a little bit and be like, oh, wait a minute, like, I got to create an offer here. Like, how do I do that? Like, this is the offer. Like, Invisible Empire is the offer. And sometimes it doesn't necessarily to be like, buy now. It's like, hey, let's jump on a strategy session call. You know what I mean? Let's have you watch this webinar from last week. Let me make you a quick recap video. Whatever. I'm kind of rambling at this point, Tyler, but I'm excited, boss. You did a great job. I'm excited to see everyone's honeypots get dropped here over the next week or so. And we might even put together a little contest, internal contest within the Empire, to see who can generate the most results from their honeypots. So, dude, great job, bro. Great job. We'll do more of these in the future.
Awesome, man. Thanks so much for sharing tonight, Chris. And for those of you who attended here, or if you're watching the replay, we appreciate you guys. The Invisible Empire would not be the same without you, and we truly mean that. Thank you so much for spending your time with us here when you could be doing a myriad of other things. You're here tonight. So you're here to learn, you're here to engage, and we appreciate it a ton. And like Chris said, keep your eyes peeled inside our group for the next live event details. We'll be dropping more details on the Solomon event at Harvard in June. It's going to be crazy, and a lot more cool things coming up here. We have a lot of amazing momentum and great things happening in the Empire. It's a beautiful time to be in this industry. It's a beautiful time to prosper and be alive, and we can't thank you guys enough. So with that being said, I'm ending the recording right now.